Hello, friends. Welcome back to Story Time with Miss G. I'm Miss G, and it has been such a long time since I've read you a story. I'm really excited to read the story with you guys today. I hope you enjoy it. And you can see I also have my little friend Lyle. He's going to help us read the story today. So this story is called The House on East 88th Street. And it is a story by Bernard Waber. If you look at this house on East 88th Street, you can see that gives you a little preview of what's going to happen in our story. This is the house on East 88th Street. It is empty now, but it won't be for long. Strange sounds come from the house. Can you hear them? Listen. Swish, swash, splash, swoosh. It began one sunny morning when the city-wide storage and moving company truck pulled up to the house on East 88th Street and unloaded the belongings of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph F. Prim and their young son Joshua. See the moving van? It was a trying day for everyone. Mrs. Prim just couldn't decide where to put the piano, and Mr. Prim's favorite pipe was accidentally packed away in one of dozens of cartons laying about. There's Mrs. Prim. Swish, swash, splash, swoosh. Loudly and clearly the sounds now rumbled through the house. It's only a little thunder, Mrs. Prim assured everyone. When a citywide storage and moving man carried in their potted pistachio tree, everyone rejoiced. The truck was at last empty. The movers wished them well and hurried off to their next job for the day. Now I'm going to prepare our lunch, announced Mrs. Prim. But first, I want to go upstairs and wash these grimy hands. Swish, swash, splash, swoosh. A puzzled Mrs. Prim stopped to listen. By and by, her ears directed her to the bathroom door. What can it be? She asked herself as she opened the door. What she saw made her slam it quickly shut. What does she see? Mrs. Prim knew she was going to scream and just waited for it to happen, but she couldn't. She could scarcely even talk. The most Mrs. Prim was able to manage was the sharp, hoarse whisper of a voice which she used to call Mr. Prim. Joseph, she said, there's a crocodile in our bathtub. Mr. Prim looked into the bathroom. Oh my goodness. The next moment found them flying off in different directions. Help! Help! Mrs. Prim cried out as she struggled with a window stuck with fresh paint. Operator! Operator! Mr. Prim shouted into the telephone, and then he remembered it was not connected. Uh-oh. Joshua, who had heard everything, raced to the front door, to be greeted there by an oddly dressed man who handed him a note. This will explain everything about the crocodile, said the man, leaving quietly but swiftly. Look at the man. Yikes. Mr. Prim read the note. Please be kind to my crocodile. He is the most gentle of creatures, and would not do harm to a flea. He must have tender, loving care, for he is an artist and can perform many good tricks. Perhaps he will perform some for you. I shall return. Cordially, Hector P. Valenti, star of stage and screen. P.S. He will eat only Turkish caviar. P.P.S. His name is Lyle. Turkish caviar indeed, exclaimed Mrs. Prim. Oh, to think this could happen on East 88th Street. Whatever will we do with him? Suddenly, before anyone could think of a worthy answer, there was Lyle. How does the family feel about Lyle right now? I see Dad looks sad and worried. Mom and Joshua look surprised or scared. And just as suddenly, he got hold of a ball that had been lying among Joshua's belongings and began to balance it on his nose and roll it down the notches of his spine. Wow. Now he was walking on his front feet and taking flying leaps. Ooh, look at the family now. How do they feel? They look a little better, right? A little happier and impressed, surprised. Now he was twirling Joshua's hoop, doing it so expertly that the Prims just had to clap their hands and laugh. Lyle bowed appreciatively. He had won his way into their hearts and into their new home. Look how silly. And look, how does the family feel now? They're hugging him, they're smiling. Looks like he's a part of the family. Every home should have a crocodile, said Mrs. Prim. Lyle is one of the family now. He loves helping out with chores. Look at him, he's dusting. He won't allow anyone else to carry out old newspapers or take in the milk. He folds towels, feeds the bird, and when he sets the table, there is always a surprise. Wow, Lyle is very helpful. I had only to show him once how to make up a bed. People everywhere stop to talk with him. They say he is the nicest crocodile they have ever met. Look, everybody wants to talk to Lyle. Lyle likes to play in the park. He always goes once around in the pony cart. And now he has learned to eat something besides Turkish caviar. He's in line to get Italian ice. Ooh, yummy. Lyle is a good sport. Everyone wants him to play. Everyone wants to play on his side. Everybody wants to be on Lyle's team. He is wonderful company. We take him everywhere. How did they get a crocodile to fit in their car? Just give him his Turkish caviar and his bed of warm water, and he is happy as a bird. Look how happy Lyle is in his bathtub. One day, a brass band paraded past the house on East 88th Street. The Prim family rushed to the window to watch. They called for Lyle, but there was no answer. Look at the band and the parade. Look at the people are all watching, and there's the Prim family in their window. But where is Lyle? Look, someone pointed out. It's Lyle. He's in the parade. There was Lyle doing his specialty of somersaults, flying leaps, walking on front feet, and taking bows just as he did the first day they laid eyes on him. The people watching cheered him on, while Lyle smiled back at them and blew kisses. A photographer was on hand to take pictures. Wow, look at everyone watching Lyle do his tricks, and there's the photographer taking pictures of him. The next day, Lyle was famous. The telephone rang continually, and bundles of mail were dropped off at the door. One letter was from someone Lyle knew particularly well. Mrs. Prim read it. Just a few words to say. I shall return. Cordially, Hector P. Valenti. Same guy. Star of stage and screen. P.S. Very soon. P.P.S. To fetch my crocodile. Several days later, Mrs. Prim and Lyle were in the kitchen shelling peas when they heard a knock at the door. It was Hector P. Valenti, star of stage and screen. I have come for Lyle, announced Signor Valenti. Oh, no. Oh, look at Lyle working hard in the kitchen. And there's Hector P. Valenti. He's come to take Lyle away. Oh, no. You can't have Lyle, cried Mrs. Prim. He is very happy living here, and we love him dearly. Lyle must be returned to me, insisted Signor Valenti. Was it not I who raised him from young crocodilehood? Was it not I who taught him his bag of tricks? We have appeared together on stages the world over. But why then did you leave him alone in a strange house? Asked Mrs. Prim. Because, answered Signor Valenti, I could no longer afford to pay for his Turkish caviar. But now Lyle is famous, and we shall soon be very rich. Mrs. Prim was saddened, but she knew Lyle properly belonged to Signor Valenti, and she had to let him go. How does Lyle feel? You see, he's got a tear. He's crying, and so is Joshua. And Mrs. Prim. And Signor Valenti is going to take him away. It was a tearful parting for everyone. Signor Valenti had big plans for Lyle. They were to travel far and wide. Oh, look at them on the cruise ship. Stay in many hotels. Where sometimes the tubs were too big, and other times too small, or too crowded. Signor Valenti did what he could to coax a smile from Lyle. He tried making funny faces at him. He stood on his head. How does Lyle feel? He tickled his toes and told him uproarious stories that in happier days would have Lyle doubled over with laughter. But Lyle could not laugh, nor could he make people laugh. He made them cry instead. One night in Paris, he made an entire audience cry. The theater manager was furious and ordered them off the stage. Look, everyone's crying. Oh, poor Lyle. Meanwhile, at the house on East 88th Street, Mrs. Prim went about her work without her usual bright smile. And deep sighs could be heard coming from behind the newspaper Mr. Prim was reading. Everyone's sad. Every morning, Joshua anxiously awaited the arrival of the mailman in hope of receiving word from Lyle. One morning, a letter did come. He knew the handwriting very well. Just a few words to say. We shall return. Cordially, Hector P. Valenti, former star of stage and screen. P.S. I am sick of crocodiles. P.P.S. and the tears of crocodiles. Uh-oh. Not too many days after, the Prims were delighted to find Hector P. Valenti and Lyle at their front door. "Here, take him back," said Signor Valenti. "He is no good. He will never make anyone laugh again." But Signor Valenti was very much mistaken. Everyone laughed, and laughed, and laughed. And in the end, so did Signor Valenti. So now, if you should happen to be walking past the house on East 88th Street, and if you should happen to hear sounds that go swish, swash, splash, swoosh, don't be surprised. It's only Lyle. Lyle the crocodile. The end. That was such a sweet story with our friend Lyle the crocodile, who is a friendly and funny crocodile. Thank you so much for listening to that story with me, friends. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon.